Each club has some of the most ridiculous comments said by their fan base. Today's video is going over Chelsea and some of the comments from Reddit on Chelsea FC. So let's dive into what some of these crazy people had to say. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Mike, huge fan of the best team in London, which happens to be Chelsea. If you agree with that, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you have not. I greatly appreciate that. So let's talk about some of the craziness that's been said on the subreddit for Chelsea. Now, some of these comments I do agree with, some of them I don't, but again, we are going to dive into each one. Now, the first one that really stuck out to me was that Chelsea will finish in the top four, which to me seems comical because what we've seen so far in this season, Chelsea have nothing that warrants a top four finish, and what we've seen from all the other clubs currently in the top four have been playing a lot better. Now, that being said, there is still a long season that can still happen. Graham Potter can finally get things going in the right direction, but it is a massive uphill battle. And obviously, Arsenal and Manchester City are pretty much locking in 1 and 2, so really it's going to be a fight for 3 and 4 through about 4 or 5 different teams. So again, Chelsea finishing the top four is a massive take for anyone to say, but maybe it'll still happen, but I don't have high hopes for it. Now, the next one talked about Conte being the best manager in the last 10 years. Now, when you look at the numbers and you look at what Conte did for Chelsea, I can definitely see where this comment is coming from, because obviously they won the league with Conte and it was an extraordinary season that year under Conte. Diego Costa was just a freak of nature, scoring so many goals, but I still have a hard time putting him past Jose Mourinho on his second term with Chelsea. Now, obviously, both managers did crash out with the entire board and everything, so again, you could kind of go back and forth with those two things, but I think Jose Mourinho's squad, when they won the league itself, I think just edges out Conte's squad. Now, again, very similar, both, again, very good at scoring goals and winning the league, but when Jose Mourinho came back, there was a possibility that Chelsea could have went undefeated that season. I can't remember exactly when we lost, but we were just beating teams left and right. And again, we were just so dominant in the entire league that I think that that was the better manager, but again, that is arguable, but that's what I'm going to say here. Now, the next one, this one I do agree with, but again, hindsight's 2020, and that is we should have signed Harry Kane over Lukaku. Now, as we all know, we saw what happened with Lukaku at Chelsea. I don't think anyone could have envisioned what was going to happen with Lukaku. What we saw last season, everything with Thomas Tuchel, it just, what all happened was, again, a freak accident. But the fact is that, yes, Harry Kane would have made more sense. Harry Kane is proven in the Premier League. The big thing is that Tottenham does not sell to Chelsea, and Chelsea does not sign any players to Tottenham. So therefore, this was almost an impossible transfer to ever happen. Yes, I would have been very happy for Harry Kane to come into Chelsea. I think every fan would have said that. But at the point when we signed Lukaku, I think most players or most fans were fairly satisfied with him coming in, especially what he did at Milan. It did make sense, but things happened out and it just did not work out. Now, the next one, this one is from me, so again, you can take it with how you want to, and that is we should have never fired Frank Lampard. Now, this one, again, I'm a little more biased on this one. I do understand where people are going to disagree with this, and I think for me, it's more that I'm a fanboy of Frank Lampard. Watched him play for the club, loved watching him as a manager, not just for Chelsea, but everywhere he's been so far. Derby and then Everton as of right now. And again, I just like what he does. He gets the youth players coming up through the system, gets them playing. And at the time when he came into Chelsea, we had a band and everything, and yet we still finished in the top four. Now, should we have done better with him? Yes, obviously. We didn't win anything with him, but still, I would have liked to give him a little more time. The way things did turn out, we won the Champions League with Thomas Tuchel, so again, that did work out, but I wish we would have stuck with Frank Lampard a little bit longer, but it is what it is. The next one, though, speaking of the Champions League, and that is that the Champions League itself did kind of throw us off a little bit for squad rebuilding. And I would definitely agree with this one, because had we not won that Champions League with Thomas Tuchel, I think the board and everyone would have looked at really turning this whole club around. But the fact that we did just win the Champions League made us look at this entire squad and say, we have a Champions League squad. Why would we change much? And because of that, we're seeing issues that we're seeing now, and why Thomas Tuchel was let go, why Graham Potter has been struggling as well with the attacking third. Yes, we brought in different players. We brought in Aubameyang, we brought in Sterling, players like that. But again, it's one of those things that has been a little more difficult for attacking third because we thought we had this phenomenal squad, and it just isn't what it should be. That being said, the next comment was talking about Raheem Sterling and rebuilding, and they were saying we shouldn't have signed this player, which I totally disagree with. I think Raheem Sterling was a phenomenal signing. Yes, he's been a little stagnant at this club, but like I just mentioned, all our attacking third players have been average at best as of right now. He's been doing quite well at the World Cup. So again, I think hopefully when he comes back from the World Cup, he can start playing really, really well with Chelsea, and hopefully Graham Potter can get the best of this player. I think he was a great sign because we need a guy who's won the league, and he's done it multiple times. You need a guy like that to have the capability of telling players what they need to be doing, what to be expected to be a Premier League winner. And therefore, again, I think Raheem Sterling was a great signing. Still in his 20s, I think we get a lot more time with this player. So again, I think it was a good signing for rebuilding. And then the last one, this one, I am very disappointed when someone would comment this, and that is that Mason Mount and Conor Gallagher are West Ham level players. They get kind of a pass because they're academy players. And I disagree with this one totally, because they are both phenomenal players. We've seen what they can both do in the Premier League. Conor Gallagher last season had an amazing season at Crystal Palace, and people were talking about how great this player was. Yes, like I said, this season has been up and down for the players. Same thing with Mason Mount, has been phenomenal for Chelsea for multiple seasons since coming with Frank Lampard. And therefore, these players are so young. To expect that they should be the best players in the entire Premier League is almost comical, because again, they're such young players yet. Give them a few more seasons and all of a sudden we'll see them being probably the top players in the league, and therefore again, Chelsea will do quite well. And again, for a fan to say this, I don't think they see the future of these players' potential, and maybe it's just them being a little biased right now because we have been struggling. But again, these players are players that we need at this club, because down the road, multiple seasons from now, they are going to be probably some of our star players. So that is my bold prediction on that, but I don't think it's that bold. So that is all I have on some of the comments. I want to know what you guys think on these comments. Comment down below if you think some of these comments are correct. They're far out there. I want to know your opinions on them as well. So that is all I have for you today. If you did enjoy this video, again, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate it. And that is it, and I will see you next time.